بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون صدق الله العظيم. Respected brothers and my young friends, these are the last few verses of the 22nd juz, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of the story of the messengers that came to a particular town to invite them towards the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And previously we have mentioned the story of Habib al-Najjar, who was a leper, who had leprosy, and who was living on the outskirts of the city. And when these messengers came, it happened that they met him first and they put their da'wah and propagation towards him. He accepted their words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured him from his illness, and then he started to work, and half of his living, half of his earnings would give in sadaqah, and the other he would spend upon his family. And from there we can also take a lesson for ourselves, that if a situation arises where we can't work for some reason, and as soon as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the capability and ability to work, then straight away we should start to work again. And we should try to earn a halal livelihood, halal living. And we should also put aside a portion for the poor, for the fuqara. Anyway, Habib al-Najjar then found out that the messengers were in the city, in the midst, and the people were plotting against them to harm them, and to the extent that they were wanting to kill them. So he rushed to the city. Allah SWT mentioned, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى. He came running. And again we mentioned last time that this shows the importance of Amr bin Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. That when a situation arises, when Nahy anil Munkar has to take place, then a person should hasten towards it. He should rush towards it. He shouldn't be relaxed and be content with it. That it's okay, it's not happening in my house, it's nothing to do with me, etc. In fact, wherever he sees disobedience taking place, then he should take on that the disobedience of my Allah, the disobedience of my Lord is taking place. And I have to put every effort to try to fix this. So anyway, Habib al-Najjar came, and he came running to them. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the way he addressed the people, and in what words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings the actual words that he used. He says, قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ, that, O my people, follow the messengers. Under this ayah, ulama have mentioned the wisdom behind these words. That the opening sentences that Habib al-Najjar used, the opening sentence that he used was, Ya qawmi ittabi'ul mursalin, O my qawm, O my people. And this gives indication that he was trying to say with so much warmth, with so much closeness, with so much love, that, O my people. When he said, O my people, he was trying to say that I am going to tell you something that I would love for myself. And I am going to advise you on something which I love for myself. I am not just telling you because I feel like telling you. In fact, I love you because you are my community. You are my people. I have lived with you. And I want from you what I love for myself. And ulama say that this approach is very effective. Where a person, he shows warmth, he shows closeness to his addressee. And when he's talking to him, he addresses him directly with some good words. This will create more engagement from the other side. The person will listen more attentively. That's why nowadays when we are faced with an issue where we have to talk to our children or brothers, friends, then one is you just call and talk to them, and one is you talk to them that, oh my dear son, Ya Bunayya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran so many places where Luqman Hakim, some say he was a Nabi, some say he was a very pious person, radiallahu anhu, or alayhi salam, that in so many instances when he used to advise his son, he used to say, Ya Bunayya, O my beloved son, Ya Bunayya aqim as-salah, Ya Bunayya, and so forth. So from there we can understand that when you have to advise somebody, then to talk to him nicely, that, oh my brother, oh my dear friend, oh my sister, if you have to talk to your sister, oh my son, oh my daughter, etc. This way of talking to somebody creates more engagement. and they listen more attentively. So once he got their attention, then he said to them, ittabi'ul mursaleen, that follow the messengers, that believe in them, that they have come with a very truthful message. And if you accept them, and if you accept what they are calling you towards, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and worshipping Him alone, and disregarding these idols that you have created, etc., that you have made with your own hands, then if you follow and if you listen to what they are instructing you towards, then you'll be very successful, not just in this world, but in fact in the eternal life, in the hereafter, you'll be successful forever. And he's also trying to tell him that the messages are brought to you of being truthful, trustworthiness, of being modest, of being filled with haya, modesty, shame, chastity, maintain kinship, relatives, be good to them, show good manners. This is what they were teaching you. So when these messengers were teaching all these good things, then aqlan, intellect, brain, our own brain tells us that if somebody is teaching us good things, then what should we do? We should follow them. And if somebody is teaching us such good things, and yet we go against them, and we oppose them, and we become hostile towards them, then this shows how foolish we are. That somebody is telling us everything which is good. He's instructing us to do all good things, yet we become hostile towards them. We start to oppose them. This shows how foolish we are. So anyway, Habib al-Najjar, and then in the next ayat, he goes on to clarify and go more in deep as to why he is telling them to follow the messengers. So he says, ittabi'u man la yas'alukum ajra wa hum muhtarun. That follow, ittabi'u, follow, man la yas'alukum, those who do not claim any reward from you, wa hum muhtarun, and they are on the right path. That Habib al-Najjar then went on to tell him that I am not just telling you to follow them for the sake of following them. If you look at their lives, then you will be able to come out and you will summarize two things in them. That number one, they are not claiming any money from you. They are not saying to you that give us money in return, that look, we are giving you some good advice, we are doing some counseling, give us some money, we want some payment. No, these people, they had left their own hometowns. They had come to a strange village. There's no housing for them. There's no shelter, there's no food. Yet they are not asking anything from you. And that shows that these people, when they are propagating the deen at their own cost, it shows that there is sincerity in what they do. If they are doing it for the sake of Allah, if they are doing it for money, then they will be asking you for money. If they are doing it for fame, then they will be looking for a position. They will be asking you that we will propagate to you, but in return we want a certain position in your community. There was nothing like this. Not just that, there was no even ulterior motives. There was no motive that we will become very recognized in the community and will be counted as very honorable people. There was nothing like this. In fact, they did not even mention anything. In fact, the only yearning and the only feeling and the only fikr that they had in their hearts was your salvation. They wanted you to get salvation the hereafter. They wanted you to get eternal happiness. So Habib al-Najjar, he told them that when you're about to follow somebody, then you have to look for two principles. Look for two criteria. Number one, are they asking you money? Somebody comes and he's very bubbly and he's giving you good advice, but then after a few weeks he tells you, would you be able to lend me some money? Then you might think, wait a minute, he's giving me all his advice. Possible that he will give me advice because he wants curras from me, he wants money from me. These people have been there for months and they're not asking you for money. That means there's no ulterior motives. And the second thing that he mentioned was that they are rightly guided. وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. They are guided. They have the attribution of guidance on them. They are people who have been guided, and everything they are saying, it makes sense. It's rational. They're telling us to do good things. And this means that whoever follows them, then inshallah they will also be guided, and they will also get eternal happiness. But the question that arises here, ulama pose a question, Mufassirin pose a question, that in regards to the two things that Habib al-Najjar mentioned, that they're not asking for any money, number one. And number two, they are rightly guided. Why is it that Habib al-Najjar specifically said, the first thing that he said was, they're not asking for money? Why did he not say that they are rightly guided and they are not asking for money? Why is it that he said, مَنْ لَا يَسْأَلُكُمْ أَجْرًا, that they are not asking for any money, they are not asking for any reward, وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ, and that they are also guided? Ulama have said that the reason why he said this was that the local people, the people that were the Qawm, they had these doubts that about the messengers, that there is no sincerity in them. They had a doubt in their hearts that these people have no sincerity in them. In fact, the reason for the Qawm's denial, one of the reasons that they denied these Anbiya or these prophets or these so-called prophets of Isa and messengers of Isa was that they thought that these people have come for their own benefit. They have come for ulterior motives. Like I've told you before, that this Qadiyah, ulama have said that it was a very good place, a place filled with crops, there was ease, there was comfort, there must have been luxuries. So they thought that these people have come from that village into our village. Why? Because they want money. So they had this. And why would they have this? Because ulama mentioned that they doubted this because these people themselves were so attached, so connected, and they had so much love for wealth that they thought, and they used to look at everybody from their own spectacles, as I was saying in English, that don't look at people with your own spectacles, meaning don't just look at it from your point of view, there might be a different point of view, but because they were so attached to money, they were so attached to wealth, they think that everything these people are doing is for gaining wealth. So Habib al-Najjar was trying to dispel this doubt that they have not come for wealth. In fact, there's a saying in Arabic that نحن لا نرى أشياء كما هي بل نراها كما نحن. That نحن لا نرى الأشياء كما هي, that we don't see things as they are, we don't see things in their reality. In fact, بل نراها كما نحن, in fact we see it the way we are. That's why there's a story regarding this, that once there was a thief, a murderer, and a farmer, and they were in the middle of the night. They noticed a person came with an axe, with a shovel, and he started digging in the middle of the field. So instantly, what did the thief think? The thief thought that this person has stolen something and he's trying to hide the treasure. What did the murderer think? The murderer thought that this person murdered somebody and he's come to bury the body. What did the farmer think? The farmer thought that this person is coming to plant some trees at night. So for what do you understand all this? Ulama say, the moral from this is that when you suspect somebody, then the brain's instincts, they kick in straight away, and they start to make a pattern, and they start to connect dots. Yeah, it's in the middle of the night, it's 12 o'clock, so definitely must have stolen something. But why is he saying this? Because the person is a thief himself, and he probably does this. So likewise, these people, because they were so attached to wealth, they had so much love for money, there's so much connection with money, they thought that these messengers that have come, they are giving all this da'wah, everything, and the whole thing is revolving our wealth. They want our wealth, that's why they're doing it. But in reality, was that the case? No. In fact, they were ignorant of the lofty and the high purpose that all of these Anbiya had come with. So ulama say that's why Habib al-Najjar mentioned, what did he mention first? Man la yasalukum ajr. That follow those people who are not asking you for any return. Why? He was trying to dispel this doubt. That if somebody has a doubt in their heart, if you have a doubt about Zaid over here, you got a doubt he's a thief, then if Zaid says something, you will never believe him. Or if you have a doubt that he always makes stories up, and he tells you something, will you believe him? So what's the first thing you have to do? You have to dispel the doubt that Zaid is not a liar. Zaid doesn't make stories up. When you dispel this thought and doubt from the person's mind, and this suspicion goes, now when Zaid says something, will this person listen? Will listen. So in the same, Habib al-Najjar was trying to dispel the thought, okay, bhai, they're not bothered about your money. If they were bothered about the money, then they would have asked for you a long time ago. They're not bothered about your money. So when this suspicion and this doubt that they have come for our money goes, then now to tell them that wahum muhtadun, their hidayah will be easily acceptable. So in Sharia, this is called takhliya and tahliya. Takhliya is when you dispel something, when you get rid of it. In tasawwuf as well, there's two words are used in tasawwuf, like takhliya. But when you go for tazkiyah nafs, the first thing you have to do is takhliya. What's takhliya? Khali. To get rid of the ills and the evils and the galat, bura akhlaq that are in your heart, the evil characteristics that are in your heart, you have to take them out first. If there's a cup and there's filth in the cup, then what do you have to do first? Before you put milk inside, you have to take the filth out. Once the filth comes out, then you put the milk inside. In the same way, when the person wants to do tazkiyah, then the first thing is to take out the filth. And a sheikh does this through Allah's fadl and through the way different exercise he gives. The first thing, he takes out all the filth. When he sees that the heart has become neutral, then what happens? Tahliya happens. Tahliya means to adorn it. So in the same way, Habib al-Najjar was saying to takhliya, that get rid of the doubts. The doubts you have of these messengers are bilkul galat. They're not like this. Once the doubt comes out, then tahliya. Tahliya, adorn it. Adorn it what? That these people are hidayat after. And if you follow them, if you listen to them, then inshallah you will also become hidayat after. So this is the ending of the surah. So in conclusion, the point that Habib al-Najjar was trying to make to them was that whenever you look for somebody, look for two things. Number one, he's not asking for any reward. And number two, he is himself rightly guided. And ulama have mentioned, how do you know somebody is rightly guided? Sometimes just by looking at them you can tell. His hulya, his apparent, his features, the sunnah on his body, the way he walks, the way he talks, the people that associate with him. You can tell that these people that are associated with them, you have seen their life before, that before they were associated with them, they were off deen. And since they have started to associate themselves with them, namaz is coming to their lives. A good akhlaq have come into their life. It's a sign that these people are hidayat. Whatever he does, whatever he speaks about Allah, His Rasul, Quran, Hadith. He's always guiding towards good. In fact, when you see him, you are reminded of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a sign that the person is on hidayat. So if you see these kind of people, you come across these people, what you should do? Hold tight on them. Hold firm to them. Because you don't get many of these people. And whenever you get them, it's our duty to hold on to them. It's important. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the correct understanding. And like Mufti have mentioned previously in the Salatul Maghrib, etc., that the days of we are going through are very, very auspicious days. In Hadith, in Tirmidhi, Rasulullah mentioned that مَا مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَن يَتَعَبَّدَ لَهُ فِيهَا مِنْ أَشْهِدِ الْحِجَّةِ. That there are no days that are more blessed and more beloved in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He is worshipped in than Ashhad al-Hijjah, these 10 nights, these 10 days. يَعْدِلُ سِيَامَ كُلِّ يَوْمٍ مِنْهَا بِالصِّيَامِ سَنَةٍ. That every day you fast is equivalent to 1 year's fast. So if somebody kept a fast today, then he's not got 1 day's reward, he got 1 year's reward. If he keeps 5 fasts, he gets 5 years reward. And if he keeps 9 fasts, he can only keep 9 because the 10th day is Eid. And you can't fast on each day, it's not permissible to fast. So 9 days, if somebody fasts for 9 days, he will get the reward of 9 years of fasting. Ulama mentioned that imagine this person, he carried out this specific ibadat, this specific amal for 10 years. He used to fast 9 nights, 9 days of the Hijjah for 10 years. How much reward will he get? 90 years of reward. 90 years of fasting. And how many of us have seen people live till 90 years? Very, very few. Very few people live till 90 years. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made such arrangements that if you do certain acts in certain days, then He will multiply them by many folds. So you might not live till 90 years, but inshallah the day you die, you will take reward of 90 years of fasting. And if somebody had done this amal for 20 years, then 180 years of fasting. How grateful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's khazana is very wasi. It's up to us to take. That's why this is one of the attributes of the Sahabas, that they used to always grasp opportunities. Whenever there's an opportunity, they wouldn't fall behind. They would look at how can I increase in amal, how can I increase in deeds, how can I get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you would always look out. They see Rasul do something. Rasul, why? It wasn't why, meaning why do this? It was what is the reward for this? In Arabic there's 2 words, lima and bima. Bima is why, and lima is for what reason. So they used to ask lima, why did this occur? Meaning we want to know as well. The stories of the rich people used to give sadaqah, and the poor people went to Rasulullah and they said, Ya Rasulullah, the rich people are going ahead of us. The ghani are going ahead of us because they can do sadaqah, we don't have money. So okay, after each salah, place tasbih, Fatimi, 33 times, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allah Akbar, etc. So they started praying it. So rich people saw this and they went to Rasul and said, they asked, what are you doing? So they said, Rasul told us to do tasbih. So they started praying. So the poor people went again and said, Rasul, they also do tasbih. So Rasul said, هذا من فضل ربي, that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's fadl, that He gives whoever He wants. So this was their temperament, that hirs. How can we gain more? I mentioned once a couple of days ago that once Rasul said, was talking about the ummats, that it was brought before him that he saw one Nabi with one ummati, one Nabi with few ummatis, until he saw one ummat so big that he had covered the whole horizon. And then Rasul said that I was told that is my ummat. And on top of that I was told that sab'una minhum yadkhulul jannata bighayri hisab, sab'una alfan, 70,000 people from this Jamaat will go in Jannat without hisab. As soon as this was said, one Sahabi by the name of Ukasha ibn Mihsan, he stood up, he said, Ya Rasulullah, udullah ijal minhum. Ya Rasulullah, make dua that I am amongst them. So some said, made dua for him, that Ya Allah, make Ukasha ibn Mihsan out of these people. As soon as he said, another Sahabi stood up. So Rasulullah said, Sabakaka Ukasha beat you. Ukasha beat you. So this was the hirs, that whenever there was an opportunity, they would run. And the nights, وَكُلُّ لَيْلَةٍ تَعْدِلُ لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ. So in Ramadan, we exert ourselves, we put effort for 10 nights looking for one Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr only occurs in one night in the last 10 nights. One night. And over here also Allah was saying that in these 10 nights, every night if you do ibadah, you'll get reward of Laylatul Qadr. So everything's so easy, it's on the plate for us. So exert a bit of effort, Maghrib till Isha, it's only 1 hour. So if we can make ourselves available, then stay in the masjid, pray some Quran Sharif, inshallah this should be counted as spending the night in the masjid, spending the night in ibadah, and inshallah we will easily be able to gain that he would have Laylatul Qadr. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the correct understanding, accept us, and give us the tawfiq to carry out amal that please him. Subhanallah,